Some places do not appear on maps. They appear when the heart is ready. Hidden just beyond the ordinary world, the Enchanted Tea Room welcomes those who arrive carrying grief, unanswered questions, or a quiet ache they cannot name. Its door opens not by chance, but by need. The door that opened twice. The evening had settled softly around the tea room. The fire glowed low in the hearth. Karen moved quietly in the kitchen, the scent of warm bread and honey drifting through the air. Beulah tended the last of the evening blooms, her hands brushing gently over the petals as though whispering good night. Inside, Katherine stood near the window, her teapot resting in her hands. The world felt still. Then, the bell above the door rang, soft, clear. Katherine looked up. A man stood at the door. He paused just beyond the doorway, as if unsure whether he had truly arrived. His coat was slightly worn. His face carried the quiet weight of years, but not of age. Something deeper, something unfinished. "Welcome," Katherine said gently. The man nodded, removing his hat slowly. His eyes moved around the room, not with curiosity, but with recognition. "I think," he said quietly, "I've been here before." Katherine gave a small, knowing smile. "Some have." He took a seat near the hearth. His hands rested on the table, fingers laced together tightly. Katherine brought him a cup of tea without a word. He nodded his thanks, but didn't drink. Instead, he stared into the fire, lost somewhere far beyond it. Katherine watched him for a moment. Then, the bell rang again. Katherine turned, and for the first time in a long while, she felt something she could not immediately explain. The same man walked through the door. The same coat, same face, same quiet presence, but not the same. This one stood a little straighter. His eyes were softer, and when he stepped inside, he paused, not in hesitation, but in wonder. Katherine said nothing. She simply watched. The second man looked around the tea room slowly, taking it in as though it were something sacred. He smiled faintly. "It's beautiful," he whispered. Across the room, the first man did not look up. Katherine stepped forward. "Please," she said gently, "come sit." The second man nodded and took a seat at the nearby table. Not beside the first, not across from him, but close enough that something unseen seemed to stretch between them. Katherine entered quietly, carrying another cup of tea. She paused, just for a moment, then placed it in front of the second man. 2 cups, 2 men, 1 room. Beulah stepped in from the garden, her eyes moving between them. She said nothing, but her presence deepened the silence. The fire crackled softly. The first man finally spoke. Without lifting his eyes, "I shouldn't be here." The second man looked up. His voice was calm. "Maybe you should." Katherine remained still. She understood now. This was not confusion. This was something far more delicate. 2 versions, 1 soul. The first man's hands tightened. "I made a choice," he said quietly. "One I can't undo." The second man nodded slowly. "I know." The first man let out a breath, heavy with regret. It changed everything. Silence. Then the second man spoke again. It doesn't have to be the end of everything. The first man shook his head. You don't understand. The second man's eyes softened. I do, he said, because I'm what comes after. The room seemed to hold its breath. Katherine stepped forward then, placing a small folded note on the table between them. Neither man touched it, but both looked at it. The firelight flickered. The first man lifted his eyes. They were filled with something raw. What happens now? He asked. Katherine's voice was gentle. Only one of you can leave. The words settled deeply into the room. The second man leaned back slightly, peaceful, certain. The first man looked down at his hands, then at the fire, then at the other version of himself. I don't deserve that, he whispered. The second man shook his head softly. It's not about deserving. A long pause. It's about choosing. The first man's breath trembled. I don't know how to live with what I've done. The second man leaned forward slightly. You don't live with it, he said quietly. You grow through it. Tears slipped down the first man's face. I don't think I can. How can I be forgiven of all of this? The second man smiled gently. You already have. The fire burned a little brighter. Katherine stepped closer, her voice soft. Read the note. Slowly, the first man reached for it. His hand shook as he opened it. Inside, written in quiet script, which version of you will you choose to become? The words lingered. The man looked into the fire. His shoulders rose and fell with a long, unsteady breath. Memories moved through him, regret, pain, but also something else, something small but steady, a choice. When he looked back again, he felt different. He looked at the other man, not with fear, not with shame, but with understanding. Stay, he whispered. The second man smiled, not with sadness, but with peace. All right, he said softly, and in the quietest way, like a breath fading into stillness, he was gone. Only one man remained. He sat there for a long moment. Then slowly he reached for his tea, and this time he drank. Warmth spread through him, not erasing what had been, but making space for what could still be. Katherine watched him gently. You chose well, she said. The man looked up. You know, for the first time, he whispered, I think I did. He stood, walked toward the door, and paused. Will I remember this place? He asked. Katherine smiled softly. Not with your mind. She placed her hand lightly over her heart. But you'll feel it when it matters. He nodded. The bell rang softly as he stepped outside, and in the quiet that followed, Beulah turned toward the fire. She said to Katherine, Not all doors, she said softly, lead somewhere new. She looked at Katherine. Some simply open so we can finally become who we were meant to be. The fire flickered, the tea cooled, and somewhere beyond what could be seen, another door waited. If this story brought you a moment of comfort, you're always welcome to come back. Like and subscribe so the tea room finds you again, and the Enchanted Tea Room will meet you again here for the next story. Until next time, the kettle will be warm and the table will be waiting.